YouTube, what's good, man? I know it's been a minute. Appreciate y'all for whoever is a new subscriber, whoever checking in for this video. If you are a subscriber to the channel, this video is not something that I normally do. It's not what I do on this channel usually, but because I'm involved in business and I consider myself to be an entrepreneur, I got a few things going on. I figure it might be helpful or beneficial for me to start talking about my experiences going through business, because of course everything that I do on this channel is to help motivate, inspire, and just as a collective help people achieve their goals and dreams and aspirations, and of course learn from those who are going through it already, so that if you're thinking about taking these steps, you can at least have some sort of resource that you can not necessarily depend on, but maybe trust if you get to know me a little bit about what I'm saying. And you'll see a lot of these things being covered by people that have more experience in this space on YouTube. And what I'm talking about today is going to be Amazon FBA. I am working on becoming an Amazon FBA seller. And that's what I want to talk about, is the process of going through Amazon, setting up your Seller Central account, and dealing with all these error codes that I'm dealing with. I've been doing this, it's going on 5, maybe almost 6 months since I initially set up my Seller Central account, and me now being ready to put my product in production. And at this point, I've got so many error codes with my listing. I just want to share that with y'all. So I first dealt with the 5665 error code, something like that. I think it has something to do with like your brand. All right. I don't want to get into too much detail because, again, as YouTubers, I got all type of videos on this going into detail. But what I want to say is, before you create your Amazon listing, I listen to so many gurus and they said, oh yeah, you can change this later. Oh yeah, just put whatever in right now. You can come back and change it. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm here to tell you straight up from my experience, don't put anything into your product listing that is inaccurate, that is not ready, that you're guessing about. Don't save anything unless you are sure that is what you want in your product listing. When it comes to your product description, keywords, those things you can definitely change. But on that first page, when it comes to your product ID, you got to have that right. You have to have that right. I've purchased 3 UPC codes for one product listing. Each one is $30. So I'm heavily invested. I need to get this correct. What you have to do, and they don't tell you this, a UPC code is a 12-digit number. The GTIN is a 14-digit number. Now you would think, as big of a company as Amazon is that they would have this IT thing down. They got the AWS, they're great with the cloud, and they got all these great systems, right? But for some reason, and I got an idea as why, but for some reason, the system doesn't restrict you from putting in numbers that don't meet the requirements. For instance, I selected GTIN for my product ID. But when I put in my product ID number, I put in the 12-digit number as opposed to the 14-digit number, which is required for a GTIN. And guess what? Seller Central will allow you to do this. They won't give you an error code until after it's saved. And after it's saved, you have to go through all these hoops and you got to go through all this stuff to get the error corrected, which takes way more time and could potentially cost you more money like it did me. So instead of Amazon saying, hey, error, you selected GTIN, you need to put in 14 digits. No. Instead of saying, hey, you selected UPC, that requires a 12-digit number. No. If you put in the incorrect numbers and continue on, you don't even have to hit save. If you click out of that box, it is now saved. That is what nobody is telling you. And I hope that you find this in good spirits, because I'm telling you, if you put in a number and select what type of product ID it is, and you click out of that box and go to the next thing, it is now saved, and you are potentially costing yourself an error that's going to take you weeks to get fixed. The other thing, and I hope I'm not saying too much, but I'm going through this right now, and it's just so much that I got to do. The other thing is, if you do want to get brand approval, this is something I didn't know. I'm watching videos, people saying, oh yeah, you could list generic as the name if you want to change it. You can't change shit later. I'm telling you, it's the worst thing ever. Do not put generic in your title. Do not do anything that is not what you intended to be in the long run. You got to have everything up front, or don't start the listing at all. So brand name, I didn't know, or I wasn't aware that your brand name has to be literally identical. So if it's all caps, you can't put in lowercase, which I did, and I'm trying to get that fixed. There's just so many things that you have to do up front that I'm not finding these YouTubers to be addressing specifically. And I figure, you know, let me come on here and say this, because I feel like somebody will get some value out of this that's going through the process, like me, who is probably just watching YouTubers trying to get the basics, and then going at it, you know, by yourself. I didn't, you know, I don't have any mentors or anything like that. I just get information and I go through the process. And going through that process, I'm learning, and then I'm sharing those mistakes or mishaps with you guys, so you guys don't have the same headaches that I have currently at this moment. I don't want to talk too much more about it, because I feel like I'll just start rambling. But the biggest thing that I want to let you guys know is that when you start your product listing in your Seller Central, don't start it unless you have the information that you want in the long run. Don't start it and then say, I'll change this later, or I'll add this later. When it comes to product ID and brand name, you must have that correct the first time you enter it, or please just don't enter it at all. Save yourself some headache. Yeah. So that was it. That's the video for today. Appreciate y'all. Subscribe if y'all, you know, are new to my channel and you're here because of the Amazon FBA. I probably will just drop more information on this, because I'm going through the process and I am so far into it. I got like over $1,000 invested. I have to make it happen. So my goal is to have my product live for the holiday season. So November, it's already pushing towards October. I don't know if I'm gonna get there, but that's the goal. And I'll keep y'all posted, man. Appreciate y'all checking out the J Matt Show. Holla.
Smokehouse Beats.